building.
If that doesn't make you want to watch tomorrow's downhill, nothing will, Andy Mills.
That's strong stuff, Dick, because that's exactly what downhill ski racing looks like, feels like, and sounds like.
Well, it's all going to happen right on this mountain tomorrow. One race against the clock for the gold medal. I wonder what's going through the mind of American A.J. Kidd right now.
Well, it's got to be churning a little bit right now because he knows that tomorrow could be the biggest day of his life. But he's got a great competitive head, meaning that he can block everything out and keep his focus.
In his third and final training run this afternoon on this mountain, he came in 13th place. That's not the important thing. He was checking out the sections he needs to check out. He's primed for tomorrow.
It's a tough race. There's about 15 guys that I think can medal in this race, and you know, it's going to go to the best 3 guys tomorrow who are the most aggressive, yet the cleanest on their skis, and can hold the line and not make the mistakes. A small mistake on this course means a lot because the margin of error is very small.
And those names will include Luxembourg's Marc Girardelli, a 4-time World Cup champion, as well as Switzerland's Franz Heinzer, reigning world champion and a 4-time winner this season. And a surprise this week has been Austria's Günther Mader, who has the courage to throw himself down this mountainside.
There are many who are curious and hopeful, including AJ's parents here from Rochester, New York, but they're not the only ones. Here in Val d'Isere, he's looked after by a woman who works at his hotel, who has become his Val d'Isere mom.
It's fun today? Yeah? I don't know what to say in English, but when some people love another people, I think he has a big heart, and all of a ski team and all of the guy in ski team is like this. He has a big heart, you know?
AJ Kidd has fans in France as well as in America. So the stage is set. Perfect weather conditions are expected tomorrow for one of the truly great moments in sport, the Olympic downhill.
It's clear. The snow where I'm sitting is a little bit soft. On the course, it will be extremely hard and fast.
My blood begins to race when I think what's going to take place here soon. At a very young age, these skiers you'll see slid on a pair of skis for the very first time. They felt the wind in their face, and with a special spirit, they wanted to go faster. These mountains, the wind, and this obsession for speed has brought all these athletes here to Val d'Isere in the Olympic Games, and soon to this starting gate. One skier will ski at 85 miles per hour, fly 150 feet through the air, racing to the valley floor. But there's one constant that they'll all have in common. Forever, their blood will race. The mountain will be their friend, and forever, they'll live with a special spirit that is that of a downhiller.
It is the most electrifying event in the Winter Olympics, the men's downhill. Capture the gold and you become a legend. France's Jean-Claude Killy, Austria's Franz Klammer, and America's Bill Johnson in 1984. Today, another legend will be born. Will it be the favorite, Switzerland's Franz Heinzer, or the American surprise, A.J. Kidd? Or four-time World Cup champion Mark Girardelli of Luxembourg. He's never won an Olympic medal. 2 minutes on the Fostabel bar. 2 minutes to become a legend. Weather conditions couldn't be better, with clear skies, superb visibility for the racers, and a lively crowd in the stands and up in the hill of over 25,000. And the moment of truth is just about upon us. Hello again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and welcome to the Olympic Downhill. The course you see behind me will be a major factor today. It is unique, challenging, and without question, a spectator's delight. Andy Mill is our expert analyst, a two-time Olympian and a downhiller, we might add. Andy, we've been talking about Franz Heinzer of Switzerland, the defending World Cup downhill champion. He's had a great season as well. But off of his training runs, there seems to be a question.
Franz Heinzer is very strong, but I'm suspect. In training all week, he's been frustrated trying to find his line as well as his timing. And he's been slow, as face reads concern.
Is there a genuine American contender here? Yes, there is. A.J. Kidd. He's really opened up a lot of eyes this season, including a second place at Kitzbühel, the Indy 500 of downhill racing. Now, after watching his practice runs, what are his chances?
Well, I really like A.J. Kidd a lot. My heart says that he has arrived here in Val d'Isere to take home a medal. But after watching A.J. in training all week, my head says that these turns are a little too tight for A.J., and that if he can finish somewhere in the top 7, it'll be a great day for him. But as much of a factor as all these skiers will be in the outcome of this event, so will the course. It's truly unique. Olympic champion and course designer Bernard Russi set his mind on a new type of course for these 92 games, which would favor the best skier instead of the best skis. Starting at 9,000 vertical feet, this downhill has wonderful terrain changes. With extremely steep faces, there's no reprieve from start to finish. A turn that represents the essence of this course is a full 180-degree right-hander called the tower turn, where precision is a prerequisite. A typical downhill has open radius turns, where the average speed is high, favoring the skiers who like the daring aspect of downhill, speed. This Val d'Isere downhill has 21 turns from start to finish, putting a high premium on turning skills. Line and timing are critical. If you're slightly off, you're into the padding. Since these tight turns are so critical, the skiers have gone from a 230 to a 217 Super G, and some skiers even to a 212 giant slalom cut.
Right now, let's join our colleague, 1964 silver medalist Billy Kidd, at the top of the mountain.
No matter how many races they've been in, there's a certain look on race day. You can see it in their faces. Confidence, concentration, the factors that will determine who wins the gold medal. Are they nervous? Well, they're all different. But I can tell you that when I was in the starting gate for the '64 Olympic downhill, I was 20 years old. I was number 1. The starter said 2 minutes, and it hit me. This is the Olympics. I had one of the fastest training runs. I thought I could win the Olympic gold medal. But I had distracting thoughts in my head. A fellow racer who slid into the trees and was killed. My heart was pounding. I couldn't breathe. It felt like there was a tight belt around my chest, and I couldn't get oxygen. My knees went weak. To stand in this starting gate, you have to be focused on the course, and especially on what you have to do. You have to set aside all other thoughts and focus just on this course. The racers that do have the best chance of winning the Olympic gold medal.
Perfect. First skier out of the start house will be 23-year-old Patrick Ortlieb of Austria. He is one of the biggest downhillers at 6'2", 203 pounds.
4, 3, 2, 1.
He's had an outstanding season and second to Franz Heinzer in the World Cup downhill standings. Question is, Andy, how effective is he on this course, because he's not used to too many turns?
Well, Dick, yesterday as we were speaking with Franz Ahrensberger, his head ski rep, he said the most perfect number that Ortlieb could have would be number 1. And look at the number he has today. He couldn't ask for a better position. This guy is an aerodynamic monster, but he's not known to ski turns real well. You know, Dick, 2 years ago, he skied like a runaway truck, really fast in a straight line, but over the last 2 years, he's really spent a lot of time in giant slalom and super G. He's become much more effective in carrying his speed through the turns.
This is the tower turn, one of the big ones on this course.
You know, he's also the biggest skier on tour. I call him the mini Madden. You know, the big latex suit. Watch him right here. This is a big left-hand turn, carrying speed onto the flat.
Along with Günther Mader, Austria's best hope for a downhill medal. His running time is on the right, and 1:11.64. That is a split time that the other racers will try to match at the top of the mountain.
Dick, Ortlieb loves the top part of this course, but this is a difficult section. This is the boulders. A very tight left-hand turn, and then the exit. Big 3 swinging turns where you must carry the speed onto the bottom. It's essential to ski clean here. Ortlieb is excellent, carrying a lot of momentum, Dick.
The last Austrian to gain a medal at the Olympics in the downhill was Leonard Stock and Peter Wernsberger in 1980. And Patrick Ortlieb with a time of 1:50.37. Patrick Ortlieb sets the standard for the other racers to shoot at. Today, big burly Patrick Ortlieb, first one down the mountain, has the lead. He's from Austria. Jean-Claude Killy back home has to be the proudest man in the stands today. Austrian Tony Seiler, who matched Killy with 3 gold medals in 1956. And up there in the press box, Franz Klammer. He'll be with Hank Kashua. He's doing Austrian television today.
It wouldn't be an Olympic Games without the 1976 gold medalist Franz Klammer. Franz, what does this day bring back for you in terms of excitement?
Good memories. And, you know, you really have to give everything to win the medal. And I really get excited to watch this race here.
Ok, 15 secondes, armée 2. Scène.
Marcus Vossmeyer of Germany.
Dick, this head wall is a fabulous section of speed, 85 miles per hour. They generate it very quickly in about 14 seconds. Just listen to the sound that the speed creates.
Vossmeyer had the fastest time in the first 2 practice races, and he has indicated in those training runs, Andy, that he is ready to challenge Franz Heinzer today.
Absolutely. I think Vossmeyer is the most elegant skier on the tour. And what I mean by elegant, he's got a very soft foot, a very soft feel. He massages this mountain with his feet. You can see how graceful. Oh, he makes a mistake right there, Dick. He leans in. You can see him scrubbing speed. Down the head wall, he accelerates to about 75 miles per hour again. This is the big flat section. He's nice and loose. Look at how he absorbs that terrain.
He had a big victory at Garmisch in January, only the second downhill triumph of his career. On the left, the split time by Patrick Ortlieb. On the right, the running time. And right now, nearly 4/10 behind Ortlieb is Vossmeyer. The best ever German performance in the Olympics, a silver medal by Hans-Peter Launig back back in 1960.
Well, Vossmeyer is known as a technical skier, meaning he knows how to roll his ski on edge and carry his speed through the turns, which is going to be essential down here on the bottom. He's 39 hundredths of a second behind. He's got his ski clean down here, Dick. He's lost some time right there.
0.5 of a second behind. Let's see what he does in the final 150-foot jump. The popular outgoing hero of Germany, Marcus Vossmeyer, is in second place behind Patrick Ortlieb. Vossmeyer trails Ortlieb while others are getting ready for the race. Andy Mill takes us inside downhill racing.
Downhill ski racing personifies speed. Electrifying speed on a ribbon of ice. From start to finish, these skiers hurtle their bodies down a mountainside. Defying the odds of control, they push the fine line they call the limit. And sometimes they push too far. But for all its reputation, downhill ski racing is much more than a high-wire balancing act. Its technical precision at speeds where only hundredths of a second will separate the gold medal from the rest of the field. The old school of downhilling was legendary men of great courage and luck with little appreciable technique. Today's downhill racer must be a master of aerodynamics, edge control, and body movement so refined that only those who couple technique along with courage will be competitive. Downhill racing is still high risk and danger, but a closer look shows a more exacting sport. One of the most important facets of successful downhilling is the element of air drag and the aerodynamics of the skier. From the earliest days of skiing till now, downhill racers have been aware of their aerodynamic form. Today, skiers are tested early in the season in a wind tunnel, where they find their most efficient and comfortable tuck position. These aerodynamic tucks will be fought for at 70 miles per hour down the side of the mountain, where those who hold good form save fractions of precious seconds. The downhiller ski poles are custom bent perfectly around a streamlined body suit. To reduce any wind drag, plastic balls or cones replace baskets, as equipment refinements can be thousandths of a second. These poles and arms of a downhiller are an important part of control. The weight of the ski poles provides counterbalance, essential in the sport where stability is so fragile. The hands may move laterally, but always remain in front of him. Possible recovery from dangerous situations are good, only if the downhiller has his hands driving forward. In its most traditional form, downhill races were exactly that, straight downhill. Today, masters of the high-speed turn. Courage is still rewarded, but the emphasis of today's elite is on the skiing skills, namely the ability to put the ski on edge and carry momentum through the turns and down the side of a mountain. It is here in the turn where the gold will be won in Val d'Isère, for it is edge control that enables the great ones to execute the perfect turn. Those turns where the tail of the outside ski follows in the same groove created by the tip. In the vernacular of the sport, this is the carved turn. A successfully carved turn means no speed is lost and momentum is maintained. Should the tail of the ski slip out of the groove created by the tip, speed is sacrificed, and the accompanying spray of snow is evident that time is being lost. As the downhiller attempts to ski with precision, he must also negotiate his line through the turns. While the quest for speed is top priority, the perfect line is a prerequisite. Timing to the start of the turn as well as hitting the apex is imperative. If the timing is late and the line runs wide, the skier loses precious time. The multitude of decisions a downhiller makes at 65 and sometimes 90 miles per hour are instantaneous. Miles and miles of downhilling over years give these athletes the experience needed to make these high-speed calculations. But the mind of a downhill racer has to be clear and strong to capture focus, keeping the moment in control. The downhill can become overwhelming. Anxiety weighs heavily, and this sometimes is the most difficult factor in all of racing.
Jan Einar Thorsen of Norway. Norway's never won an Olympic downhill medal. Atle Skardal, their ace, is injured. Thorsen has to carry the banner. He's been in the top 10 most of the year in the downhill races, and he is in third place. He's never finished higher than in the men's downhill. Switzerland has dominated lately. In second place from Germany is Markus Wassmeyer. They've only had 2 medals in their history. And what a story on the course right now. Leonard Stock of Austria, who turns 34 next month. He has 3 children, Andy. Here he is again, a stunning gold medal at Lake Placid in 1980 and 4th at Calgary 4 years ago.
A really good turn. He said he's going to cut it off. And wow, look at the tight line he's got here in the tower turn. Oh, he hits the outside paneling, Dick. It was just too direct of a line.
So Leonard Stock is out of the race.
He absolutely risked everything. He came in and just dove in on the gate. His momentum was going to the outside. He obviously crashed into the paneling, and he's out of the race. You got to give him credit for going for it, Dick.
Well, this may be the last we'll see of Leonard Stock in an Olympic downhill. Apparently, he's all right, and that's good news. And there's a delay right now as they are repairing the gates on the course. Franz Heinzer waiting at the top, and he is a concern of Ortlieb's right now. Heinzer, the defending world champion. What's behind this racer? Here's Billy Kidd.
His fans waited 10 years to toast a world championship. And when it happened, they erected this sign on the mountain road leading to his home. Welcome to the ski country of world champion Franz Heinzer. The 29-year-old downhiller lives with his parents 3,000 feet above the town of Schwyz. The Heinzer's dairy farm sits on steep terrain, only 5 minutes from the local ski lift.
I always brought my father lunch over there to the ski lifts where they had built a ski jump. And then he flew right over me on his skis. I was still a tot and nobody had seen me, otherwise they would have certainly moved me aside. Then came my father. He just flew right over me. That was tremendous. The image has to this day never left my mind.
In winter, Franz's dad works at the local ski lift. The Heinzer family doesn't own a TV set, so believe it or not, Franz's parents have never seen him race with the Swiss team in person or on television.
During the World Championships, I was working at the ski lift. Even though I had a TV and a radio there, I didn't have the courage to follow the race. Only after it was over, I got word that Franz had won the World Championship.
His reaction to the news?
Well, I started to cry.
More than a few tears were shed when Franz brought the World Championship back to his fans in Schwyz. He became the first downhiller to win the hallowed Hahnenkamm race in Kitzbühel, Austria, the World Downhill title, and the overall World Cup downhill crown in the same season. And it all came after years of frustration and injury. The Swiss press wondered whether he was too nice a guy to win the big races. And after finishing 4th so many times, they dubbed him, what else? Franz the Fourth.
Altogether, there were 14 fourth places, I think. And the worst of all was when I became 4th in the World Championships. I had to pull myself together and say to myself, you can get rid of everything. Don't get 4th, no matter what.
Despite this vow, Heinzer came dangerously close to that dreaded 4th place finish at the World Championships in Saalbach, Austria. He made a mistake at the top of the course that cost him half a second and an eternity in downhill racing. But faced with another failure, the champion inside him woke up. The nice boy from Schwyz attacked. With ample time to reflect on his victories, Franz is still unsure why it all came together in 1991. But he admits that his new role as a small businessman gives him confidence and helps get his mind off ski racing. He bought this sporting goods store in 1990 to lay a foundation for his retirement from skiing. These Olympics at Albertville will be his last.
I am the one who could not lose faith in myself. Otherwise, I could never have won another race, or even be able to race this way at all. I feel that one has to somehow build a wall around oneself, no matter what, where one can protect oneself. I had no pressure to succeed. I had to prove myself to no one, only to myself.
Talking And Heinzer's fan club anticipating an Olympic medal, hopefully a gold.
Okay.
At the top in the start house, Franz Heinzer.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
4 victories in 6 races this season, but Andy, he's been in the background during the training runs.
Well, he's still, like I said earlier, that he's trying to find out his line and timing. He's been frustrated with it, and I think he's a little bit concerned. I think a big factor in his success is the retirement of Pierman Zurbriggen. For so many years, he lived in his shadows, but now that Zurbriggen is retired, Franz has really come on. But, you know, one of the greater facets of his skiing is his arm discipline. As he makes his way down here, watch how he always has them loose and in front of him. Now, ski racing is very similar to car racing in the fact you have to set up the apex. You start to turn right there. There's the apex. Now he's going to let the skis run because in ski racing you do not have an accelerator. It's important to carry the momentum, Dick.
Franz Heinzer trying to follow, as you say, in the footsteps of Pierman Zurbriggen, who won the gold medal at Calgary in 1988. His running time is on the right, and Patrick Ortlieb's split time coming up on the left. Let's see where Heinzer is. And Heinzer about a half of a second off the pace right now.
There's such a fine line between skiing perfectly and skiing just on the edge. You can see him scrubbing speed all the way down. And then right there in the boulders, he's offline a little bit, Dick, and he's had to scrub even more speed. Franz Heinzer has to pour it on right here. He's got to be absolutely perfect in the bottom section of the course if he even thinks about winning the medal.
He has lost some time, and he's going to have to turn it on right now. He was 17th at Calgary. That was disappointing. He needs a medal right here. And church bells will not be ringing in his hometown in Rickenback. Franz Heinzer is out of medal contention right now in 4th place.
In that dreaded position, it could be another nightmare day for Heinzer.
And Patrick Ortlieb's lead is safe for now. At least the world champion won't beat him today. And the question is, as we look at the top, can American A.J. Kitt challenge the top 3? We'll find out soon.
On beachfront property. But in the real world, you have to eat. Well, you can eat tuna once in a while. And you have to buy stuff like socks and shoes and CDs. Well, maybe not so many CDs. Fortunately, the people at Isuzu have to buy stuff too. That's why they created the Rodeo, a 4-wheel drive vehicle you can afford, and why they'll give you a great deal on a sound system and air conditioning. So now, you can buy more stuff. Oh, we forgot to mention taxes.
Games on CBS. We continue now from Val d'Isere with the men's downhill.
The majestic French Alps. Here at the men's downhill, Dick Stockton and Andy Mill, where the story right now is that Olympic favorite Franz Heinzer will not win an Olympic medal. You've seen the dramatic turns of this course. They're only part of the story. Here's Billy Kidd.
There are 3 spectacular jumps on this course. Sometimes the racers will fly over 150 feet. The long jumps look spectacular, but the racers actually lose speed in the air. They can't keep a compact tuck position and therefore have too much wind resistance. They often need to move their arms around to keep their balance and lose speed. By pre-jumping the jump, actually jumping up before the jump, and just skimming the edge of the drop-off, they can get back on the snow as soon as possible. It's a very difficult and dangerous maneuver, but if it works, they can spend less time in the air and more time in their streamlined tuck position when they get back on the snow sooner. Like John Madden and Eddie the Eagle, downhill racers want to fly through the air as little as possible.
And a fine crowd for the men's downhill on a beautiful day. AJ's parents at the bottom of the hill. They were up early, I'm sure, as was AJ himself. The biggest day of AJ Kitt's racing life began early, 8:45 in the morning. Coming up the pommel lift by himself. Solitude is what he was looking for. One last look down the mountain, and one last look out of the start house before he put his game face on. Right now, A.J. Kitt loosening up. It won't be long before he makes his bid. One more skier before A.J. comes down the mountain, and he's a tough one, Günther Mader of Austria. Mader may be the best Austrian hope going in. Outstanding training runs, a versatile skier. He skis the Super G. This may be his kind of course.
Well, he's a fabulous skier, and I'll tell you one of the reasons why I think he can do well here today, because the pressure is not on him. Since he is a Super G skier, that's where the pressure lies. In downhill, he feels like he can ski free. No matter what result he has here today, there's really no pressure on him.
Skiing well at the top of the mountain, just about even with Ortlieb.
One of the reasons he skis so well this week, and training has been fast, he's skiing on a pair of 213-centimeter giant slalom skis, enabling him to cut the line off. Right here, look at that, the tower turn. You see how tight he is? Now he's hit the apex. Now he can let that ski go. What momentum he's carried here, Dick. The problem with speed at 70 miles per hour, look at those skis shake. They're only 230 centimeters. That's the thing he's sacrificing, stability.
Coming up to the tunnel bump time. Patrick Ortlieb's split time is on the left, the running time of Mader on the right, and right now he has lost some time, nearly half a second behind. In Calgary, Mader skied in all the disciplines.
He skied fast in Calgary and downhill, but fell and was injured. This could be some kind of a downhill reprieve, if you will, Dick, because he wanted to ski well up there. He did in training. He's only 45/100ths of a second behind. He can make it up. He's only 37/100ths right now. If he skis clean, he might be able to do it.
He made up some time in the last section. It's amazing how sturdy he must be to ski so many disciplines. And he has a real chance to catch the leaders. He's never finished in the top 3 in a downhill race. And Günther Mader moves into second place. Patrick Ortlieb is relieved. But Marcus Bosmeyer now has moved down to third place. And coming up, the moment of truth for A.J. Kitt. This is what he's been waiting for. Meanwhile, down below, A.J. Kitt's parents. And A.J. Kitt's supporters, 90 of them drove 10 hours from Germany to get here to Val d'Isère to see his effort.
15 secondes. Armé 15.
So much more confident than a year ago when he was outspoken in his dislike for this course, Andy, but success breeds confidence. First at Val d'Isère in the old course, second at Kitzbühel. He's a new man.
That's the sound of speed, Dick Stockton. A.J. Kitt has got tremendous momentum. Look at that. He's only 13/100ths of a second at the first split behind. He's good over there. This is the big roundhouse. Just to see what he's going to do in the tower turn. This is where he's had trouble all week. And he scrubs a little bit more speed. Look at that ski slipping, Dick. And again right there, it's just not perfectly clean skiing. All the way down, Dick, from start to finish. You can see that speed scrub.
A.J. Kitt has been besieged by the media. First time he's really had to handle it with that kind of volume here at the Olympics. Patrick Ortlieb is still our leader. His time is on the left after the tunnel bump. Let's see if A.J. has gained or lost time. And he has lost about a second. So he's going to have to really turn it on.
He's got to ski perfectly in the most difficult sections of the course. I just don't think he's going to be able to do it. He's carried his line quite well, though, there, Dick. His momentum is not bad.
Coming into the last split time, that'll give us a good gauge. He has an opportunity. He has lost 0.2 of a second. And right now, A.J. Kitt trying to finish strong.
Dick, he's going to have to ski out of his skin to come in. We're close to a bronze medal at this point.
He may have a better shot at finishing in the top 10. Driving toward the finish is American A.J. Kitt, and he is in 8th place. Well, in Calgary in 1988, A.J. Kidd finished 26th in the downhill. Right now, he is in 8th.
Let's go back up to the head wall where at 75 miles per hour, A.J. makes a major mistake. The airflow is in this direction, but look at how high his shoulders are. Now remember, aerodynamic mistakes are accentuated at high speed. All the way through this turn onto a flat, he's too high. Then he rotates right at the end of the turn, scrubbing even more speed. Look at this body position right here. The arm is coming across his body, and look at the spray of snow. Meanwhile, he's got a flat to go across, and he loses all of his time.
No downhill medal in this Olympics for A.J. Kidd, but Girardelli hasn't won. He's had a slow start this season, but had the fastest time in yesterday's final training run, Andy.
What a long flight he had off that second jump, and look at the momentum he's carried off the head wall. Perfect aerodynamic top position. He held on so well, and if there's anybody who can generate momentum through turns, Mark Girardelli can do it.
Mark Girardelli has the lead in the top section.
He is the most consummate skier possibly of all time. He has won in every discipline. He's won in Kitzbühel as well. So he knows how to ski downhill because he can generate the power through the turns. He is skiing so clean, Dick. And look at the tight line he has. Oh, the momentum, Dick. Oh, my God, he's just missed that gate. He carried so much speed through that turn. Patrick
Ortlieb sees another bid come up empty as Mark Girardelli is out of the race.
Mark Girardelli must be so frustrated after skiing so well in training. Let's go up to the tower turn and see what happens. Takes a very direct line right here. And he's about the only guy who can make such a clean turn. Obviously carrying a lot of speed. He lets the skis run. This is perfect skiing right here, but he doesn't stay with it. He leans inside, loses the edge, and misses the next gate.
We have not seen the last of Girardelli. He'll be in many other events in the Olympics. Meanwhile, Ortlieb knows this race isn't over yet.
Had a good run. Number one was perfect. Now I have to wait. The race is finished when Akala is down. I have to wait till number 30. It's a long time.
Paul Akala, the Swiss whiz, looms, but meanwhile in the start house is Frank Picard of France.
OK, 15 secondes, armée, 23. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Picard is on the course. The Albertville native won 2 medals in the 88 Olympics besides the gold and super G, the bronze in the downhill.
Dick Stockton, Frank Picard has got his concentration set in stone. You saw him backstage emulating the course that he would see now. Obviously in the starting gate, breathing deeply and getting ready. Now, if there's anybody who can stay over the center of their ski and carry momentum as well as the other guys, Frank Picard can do it. He's done it in the past, and in the big events, he's done it as well. I cannot imagine the pressure that Picard has on him. Let's see what he does in the tower turn. He sets it up. There's the apex. He's letting the skis run. Way down by the fencing. He's got the momentum.
No one can be more familiar with this course than Picard. He has trained many times on the Fosse de Bellebarde, and the fans are strong in his support.
This is fabulous skiing. He's nice and loose.
Let's see where he is on the split as he challenges for a medal. And Frank Picard is in contention, only 3/10 behind.
3/10 of a second. Picard can make this up on Ortlieb. He is much better of a skier. He's hit his edges hard there, but it looks as though he's carried the speed through the boulders. Look at that nice clean edge set, Dick.
And in the last section, Frank Picard still 3/10 of a second behind. He's got a chance.
Great hand discipline. He's nice and loose. Look at those legs roll. And he's sitting back. He's squirted some speed out of that turn.
He's giving the home country throng something to cheer for. The home course advantage. And Frank Picard moves into second place. Only 5/100ths of a second out of first. Picard moves ahead of Gunter Mader into second place and knocks Marcus Vosmeyer of Germany out of the medal contention. So the standings, and they're joyous here at Val d'Isere. Ortlieb still leads. Picard is second. Mader drops to third. He can hold on to second place in the downhill. Patrick Ortlieb, who's never won a World Cup race, stands on the brink of an Olympic gold medal. And meanwhile, Hank Kashua has caught up with A.J. Kitt.
AJ, good run, but not quite enough today.
Yeah, it's a difficult course, real turny, and you make a few mistakes and you're out of it. So, I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with my skiing, and I'll get them in 2 years, I guess.
And the one man that everyone fears, including Patrick Ortlieb, as we heard earlier, is Paul Akela of Switzerland, the overall World Cup leader this year.
Dickey skiing on a 212 giant slalom ski. Akela will attack this course with a vengeance. Whoa, almost gets upside down right there. It's rough at 85 miles an hour. Look how short those skis are. It's very rough. But on the bottom section of this course, watch how straight he'll go. Very direct, inside of everybody else's line.
Akela is having a tremendous season. He is even ahead of the great Alberto Tomba in the World Cup overall leadership. He skis everything. Downhill may be the least favorite.
And he's attacking this course. You can see him hitting the top gate. Look at his line, standing well on the outside skiing. Very clean skiing. Another gate he just hit right there. He's going down the fall line. More like giant slalom than anything, Dick. And look at his momentum to the outside. He just could not get back.
Paul Akela is out of the race, and Patrick Ortlieb now knows that the gold medal is his. Akela, another dejected Swiss, last racer with a chance. Meanwhile, Patrick Ortlieb is with Hank Kashua.
Patrick, your first win ever. You picked a great race to do it in.
Yeah, I trained for this race, and I lost many races. It's just 2 or 3 hundredths of a second, and today I was that little bit in front.
How hard was it to wait here at the bottom after you ran #1 and watch all those other great racers come down?
Yeah, it was much more stress than skiing itself, but I waited and I'm happy.
It's been a black day for the Swiss skiers, including Franz Heiser, but how about Franck Picard?
Well, this morning I thought to myself, well, it's maybe the greatest day of my life that you have to live, and now it's done, and it's really perfect day for me. I'm sorry about to don't get the first place, but it's so close, and it's so a question of chance finally, and no deception, because after Calgary I had 2 medals, 1 bronze and 1 gold, and now it's a silver, so the collection is complete.
And another part of the American story was Kyle Rasmussen, who finished 16th in the Olympic downhill, his best of the year.
Kyle's been inspired, I think, as well as the other team members by AJ, and with AJ's success, hopefully he'll be pulling up the younger talent and will be much stronger as a whole in the future. That's not a bad performance, though, Dick, I'll tell you.
And here's how the American downhillers finished today. Of course, A.J. Kitt led the way. He wound up in 9th position. Kyle Rasmussen, 16. Tommy Moe and Reggie Christ both completed the runs.
Top 10.
Hey. Good for you. Good job. I'm so proud of you.
Dan, that was exciting to watch. Yeah, it was fun to watch you ski.
I'm close to first though.
So the Olympic downhill is history here at Val d'Isere. Patrick Ortlieb, Franck Picard, and Gunter Mader in the gold, silver, and bronze. Patrick Ortlieb, with his first victory ever, joins Tony Seiler, Egon Zimmermann, Franz Klammer, and Leonard Stock as Austrian gold medal winners in the downhill.
France. But there were 2 young men out there who brought their dreams of alpine glory from a land where their countrymen may have heard of snow, but they have no idea what it looks or feels like. Bill Geist has their story.
Lamine Gay came to the men's downhill today with the modest hope of finishing in the top 50 skiers. Lamine Gay, you see, is at a bit of a disadvantage. He was born with a dream of being an alpine skier in a land without snow or inclines. Rather like an Eskimo who develops a sudden interest in growing pineapples. Let's not call it a handicap. Let's just say Lamine is geographically challenged. He can barely even explain what he does to the folks back home.
It's not really the national sport in Senegal. I tell them it's the white stuff. It's white and cold. I tell them it's, for example, if you go in a refrigerator, you have that white powder. And I tell them it's like that, but it's just all over the mountains. When I tell them that I'm racing for Senegal, some people think it's a joke. They think I'm a little bit crazy, of course, but I think I'm able to make them understand that the feeling of a skier is really good.
Lamine Gay is a member of the Senegalese ski team. Its only member until recently when Alphonse Gomis joined him, doubling the squad size and making skiing the fastest growing sport in Senegal. Being an African alpine skier isn't easy, but neither is being a member of a two-man Olympic delegation. The United States team has a support staff of more than 200 people. Clerks, drivers, nutritionists, massage therapists. Lamine Gay, he has to do it all. As creator, president, secretary, treasurer, coach, and manager of the Senegalese Ski Federation, if one may properly call two guys a federation, Lamine Gay has almost no time to ski. Bound as he is to tedious administrative matters and meetings. He's the only skier at the coaches' meeting. The team was made to share locker space with Yugoslavia, picking up a little elbow room when Yugoslavia went out of business. The president of the Senegalese Ski Federation must be handy with power tools, too, and grateful for any help he can get.
It doesn't work.
I could be your ski technician.
While the other athletes are out practicing, holding press conferences, and signing autographs, Lamine Gay searches Europe for a ski boot screw. France, Sweden, and Germany.
No.
When there's a smidgen of time for skiing, Team Senegal takes a city bus. When there are interviews, they're self-inflicted. At the top of the daunting Belvard slope, Alphonse wonders if going through the motions might be enough. He's better off a live unknown, he says, than a dead hero. With two on the team, there's safety in numbers.
One of us crashed in the training and is not able to ski in the race. There's still another one to carry the colors of the country.
Indeed, Alphonse didn't quite make it all the way to the bottom. Lamine Gay did reach his goal of finishing in the top 50.
Extremely technically demanding. There are about 21 turns. Now, with all the snow last night, there's going to be some soft sections on this course. You can see the spray of the snow right there. That's represented by soft snow, new snow, if you will. This is the Katrine jump going into a compression. Now, coming up, the big roundhouse tower turn where Girardelli went off the course yesterday, took a very fast and tight line and just could not make it. That's excellent skiing right there. He's got the tight line. He carried a lot of speed there, Dick, and he's made that gate.
Girardelli finished second at Kitzbühel in the combined this year. Pretty good effort for him.
You know, he definitely knows how to ski all events well. A lot of people say that it's been a lack of fire, a lack of pushing the limit as to the reason he's had a lackluster season. But yesterday, I must commend him. He was going. He had the hammer down.
He is a second and a 10th ahead of the last snow Sneed before the first skier.
A lot of terrain changes, then tight line into tunnel. He's into the fencing, Dick. What a surprise. He took a tight line and could not make it. You could see he got into that hard snow and lost his edges.
What an incredible slide for Girardelli, and he really is shaken up.
Now, Mark Girardelli's fall is a result of a line mistake. Now, coming into the couloir or the rocks, he's very tight. Now, if you take a look at the exit of the turn, his momentum is going down the slope right here. If he were to finish the turn, he'd be coming from behind, and he'd be set up for the rocks better. At this point in time, all he can do is protect himself when he goes into the fencing. It's a good thing he goes in feet first. Taking another look, Dick, at the line he had, it's obvious there's no way he was going to make it. And thank God he went in with a big muscle group first.
And at the top of the mountain, our next skier, Marcus Vosmeyer of Germany, will have to wait some as this competition has been put on hold as they clear the course.
The 16th Olympic Winter Games on CBS are sponsored by the official car of the U.S. ski team. Subaru is truly what to drive. And the card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it. And United Airlines, proud sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. Come fly the friendly skies. And Reebok, who asked, who is the world's greatest athlete, Dan or Dave?
Dan can run 100 meters in 10.3 seconds. Dave can high jump 6 feet, 10 3/4 inches. This summer, they'll battle it out in Barcelona for the title of world's greatest athlete. Dan can throw a 16-pound shot put 53 feet, 3 inches. Dave can hurl a javelin 236 feet. This summer, they'll battle it out in Barcelona for the title of world's greatest athlete. Dan can throw a discus 172 feet. Dave can long jump 24 feet, 10 1/2 inches. This summer, they'll battle it out in Barcelona for the title of world's greatest athlete. Dan won the decathlon at the World Track and Field Championships. Dave won the decathlon at the Goodwill Games. This summer, they'll battle it out in Barcelona for the title of world's greatest athlete.
Dave doesn't know about this, but Reebok gave me this top-secret running shoe. It's called the Pump Graphite. This arch design makes them very light, supportive, and I have the only pair in existence. They won't be available to the public until spring, but I get special treatment because Reebok really wants me to win in Barcelona.
To be settled in Barcelona.
A car is a car. It won't make you handsome or prettier or younger, and if it improves your standing with the neighbors, then you live among snobs. A car is steel, electronics, rubber, plastic, and glass. A machine. And in the end, may the best machine win. Subaru, what to drive.
On the course now is Marcus Vosmeyer, the darling of German ski fans, who just missed winning a bronze medal in the downhill yesterday.
He's a fabulous skier. He's been skiing really well this year. He's had a lackluster last 4 years. He's good in the air, about 150 feet off that last jump.
And Vosmeyer, who finished 7th at Calgary 4 years ago in this event, will become the leader with Mark Girardelli out of the race. The greatest ski racers in the world are awaiting their turn at the top. Jan Einar Thorsen of Norway. He's coming up very soon. And how about a wake-up call for A.J. Kitt? He's up there along with Kyle Rasmussen. Tell you who has to be awake right now in the gate. Gunter Mader. He didn't have a chance to celebrate his bronze medal in the downhill too much into the night, Andy Mill. He's trying to get a medal here, and he's done very well in the combined so far this year.
And he's a real favorite for this event. He's better known as a Super G and a giant slalom skier. And I spoke with him. He was saying that the pressure was off in the downhill. He could ski with a much more of a loose attitude. He knows his course, obviously. He's skiing with a lot of confidence. It'll be interesting to see how much of a line he can cut off, go more direct. That's been the key for these technical skiers. They're skiing on a short 212-centimeter giant slalom ski. You'll notice down in the turns how direct they go.
The tower turn for Gunter Mader, who on the first of 2 days of the combine is looking to ultimately get his second medal of these games.
One of the problems about having the race delayed so late into the afternoon is the light. You can see that he's going in and out of the shadows, and it's difficult to see the terrain changes all the time in these shadows. A very difficult section coming up. The tunnel bump between here and the finish is very demanding.
The split time of Osmeyer is on the left, the running time, and right now ahead by a half a second is Mader at this point.
Going very fast, and he cut that off as well, Dick. He's come from behind pretty good, but he leans in right there, and he goes into the padding.
Same place where Girardelli went down.
You have to wonder whether it's the snow conditions going from soft snow to hard snow that could be a problem here. Taking a look at it, he comes from behind quite well. He doesn't get thrown too badly, but right there he leans in, and see how he loses the downhill ski? That was the problem, a technical mistake.
First Girardelli and now Mader out of the race. Alpine combined has been sprinkled throughout Olympic history. Hank Kashua. Outstanding downhiller Jan Einar Thorsen of Norway very nearly gave his country their first medal in a downhill in the Olympics. He came in fifth.
He lost the #1 teammate, Atle Skardal, earlier in the season to a knee surgery. We must also remember that Thorsen is a big comeback story. Last summer, he had 2 arthroscopic knee surgeries. He went into depression, saw a psychologist, of whom turned him onto a book, which basically stated, I deserve to win. And he's been really working on his confidence, and he's starting to ski at a very high level. And he's carrying a lot of speed right here.
It's amazing that we have so many good Norwegian downhillers, considering that there is only one downhill mountain, and that's in Lillehammer, the host of the 1994 Winter Olympics.
They have a very small team, but they're diligent workers, and they have an excellent coach, and by the name of Dieter Bartsch. He's worked their timing and peaking this season perfectly for the Olympics. They're going to be strong.
Botsmeyer's split time is on the left, and right now, Thorsen is in front by more than a half a second.
Watch how supple his body is. He's having an almost perfect run. The hands are driving forward. A little problem there, not bad, but it's so difficult. Look how clean he's skiing. He's standing extremely well on the outside ski. And the next 2 turns are very important.
Let's see how we did on this section. He was up 0.7 of a second, and that's been cut down, but he's still in first right here.
Boy, and he hit that line perfectly. He started early, carried his momentum down that follow-away, and look at this turn, sitting back, squeezing more speed out of that turn.
And the last 150-foot jump, Jan Einar Thorsen of Norway crosses the finish line here at Val d'Isère and moves into first place by nearly 1 full second. A.J. Kitt would love to have a result like Jan Einar Thorsen's. He's ready to go here. 5, 4. A.J. Kitt is on the course. Felt pretty good about his 9th place finish in the downhill yesterday. This is the combined. What are his chances in the 2-day race, Andy?
Not very good at all, but the downhill, he would love to win this event today. And he's adapted his skiing style quite well to this course. He's acknowledged the fact that it's not his type because it's so turny from start to finish. A.J. Kitt is not known to be a technical skier, but he's really doing quite well this season. Let's watch the big tower turn right here. One of the things that's important is to set it up. You start here, you hit the apex, and then you let the ski go. Remember, ski racing is all momentum. This is the head wall. They accelerate to about 75 miles per hour right here. It's very difficult terrain changes right there. You must be nice and smooth to absorb everything.
He'll be chasing the time of Jan Einar Thorsen, who skied right before him. That's Thorsen's time on the left. And right now, AJ is about 0.3 of a second behind.
The top section of this course is truly a downhill. He's only 0.39 behind to that point. From here to the finish, this is where it's really extremely technical skiing. You can hear the ice, the turns are sharp, but now he can start to let it roll again.
We'll check the split time, and AJ has lost about 0.3 of a second in that last section.
And that is not bad because Thorsen had a perfect run. Driving the hands forward, that's good, Dick.
AJ Kidd.
Whoa!
Really enjoying himself on that jump and enjoying the support by the parents and fans. Is in third place at this point to be a shoe-in for the combined medal. But he straddled the gate and lost precious seconds. But for all intents and purposes, he was out of this competition. A shocking development.
Dick, he only knows one speed, and that's full speed ahead. That didn't work on this course today.
Meanwhile, Team Italia was looming right behind Hubert Strolz. Two of their racers found themselves in the top 5. First day leader Jan Einar Thorsen took himself out of medal contention with a mediocre first run. However, the stunning development was Paul Akkala's mishap. Akkala also had a big problem with the course.
I can't understand that the organizer makes so bad course for us. Like yesterday was so bad downhill, and today the same in the slalom. I can't understand.
So with many of the favorites falling by the wayside, the field was wide open with one slalom run yet to go. Bard, which will host all the men's alpine events but one. Yesterday's downhill combined followed the same course as the downhill we had on Sunday. Today we're on the slalom course. The story here is Paul Akkala, who is out of the race, that he's not alone in his criticism of the course. Here's Hank Kashiwa.
Thanks, Dick. I've been around international ski racing for 25 years now, competing for 15, covering it for television for 10. I haven't seen many major events prepared like this one today. There's good, hard, man-made snow underneath. What on top is fallen over the last 2 days. It's frozen, but not quite hard enough to keep the racers on top. That's why there's so much course preparation going on during the event today and so many casualties during the first run. If they're going to have a gold medal competition only once every 4 years, I think they should prepare the course a little bit better.
The winner of the slalom portion is decided by the combined time in both runs, and they begin in the reverse order, the top 15 from the first run. So Christian Gadina of Italy, who's fortunate to be alive, Billy Kidd. He crashed his car in a horrible accident last April, in a coma for 2 days, back on skis in 5 months. Unbelievable.
Dick, his coach told me a couple days ago that he didn't think he was fully recovered, that his reactions were a little bit slow. Right there, you can see his reactions were slow. He got back on his skis. He was lucky to recover from that. Now he'd better just let the skis run. He better go as fast as he can from here on in.
Christian Gadina, outside of Tomba, has been Italy's most productive skier, but he's got a lot of company today with the other fine Italians. That is his split time on the right in this slalom race.
Well, Gadina is a downhill racer. You'll see that he makes very round turns. He doesn't get his feet very close to the gate. But since he made that mistake up on the top, he has nothing to lose. He might as well go for it.
He won a silver medal in the World Championships combined last year, and Christian Gadina, the first man out of the start house, has that time. And that's what all of the racers will be shooting at. Here is Markus Vossmeyer of Germany, mostly a downhill and Super G skier. Rarely skis slalom and just missed a bronze medal in the downhill on Sunday.
Well, he can surprise you with his turning ability. He races in Super G, which is high-speed giant slalom skiing. Oops, he's back again, the same place that Gadina had a problem. That top part is deceptively steep. The snow conditions are probably erratic up there, where you're going from soft snow to the ice underneath. You can hear the edges on the ice.
55 gates in this race, one fewer than this morning.
Down through here, Vossmeyer seems to be pushing a little bit. Not enough. You'll see a big difference when you see the slalom specialist. He's too late in that gate, slid down. The race is almost over for him.
Seventh in yesterday's downhill portion, to come back strong after a big slump 2 years ago. Marcus Vosmeyer, not as comfortable in the gate events.
Well, there's a downhill racer. A downhill racer with a bloody lip, it looks like, from hitting the gate. Downhill racers don't do that well in slalom, and here's why. They make very round turns around the gate. It's kind of the old-fashioned way of making slalom turns. The new slalom racers go right straight at the gate. They make the turn very quickly. The downhill racers don't do that well.
How about the Italians? Josip Polig, one of them, in the age of specialists. He enjoys competing in all the disciplines. And like you, Billy, when you skied, the combined is a big favorite of his.
Well, like me also, he likes downhill the best, but he gets his best results in slalom. It is a different technique, not only different skis, but different timing. If you watch him now, he starts his turn way before the gate. He slid a little bit sideways on that one. This course is rough already now. You can see his skis bouncing around.
There is a split time, and it's a pretty good one. He was sixth in the combined downhill. A good showing now will place him in prime contention.
Well, he's really having a good run here, Dick. You can see he starts his turn way before the gate. He plants his pole for timing. That's extremely critical, and that's one of the signs of a good slalom racer.
You will see the time on the left, and that is what he needs to take over the lead in the overall combined. And he does. In first place is Josip Polig of Italy, who has done well in the combined races this season with a 5th and a 6th place result. And the Italian team is looking strong.
Oh, I like his technique, Dick. Right there, even though he skid, he got right back on the gate again. But look at, he'll start that turn with a pole plant. He'll keep his shoulders facing right straight downhill. He'll try to get those skis around the gate as soon as possible and right next to the gate.
Josip Polig has moved into the lead, and Italians right now are 1-3 as Polig and Godina surrounds Vaza combined. Free and easy youngster, went to Philadelphia to learn English in 2 months. He bought a Harley and rode it down to Florida. Those are the Norwegian fans. They host the 94 games, and they hope that Ola Christian Furuseth wins a medal before then. So here is Furuseth, who came into the Olympics hoping to become the first Norwegian since Stein Eriksen in 1952 to win an Olympic alpine medal. This is his specialty.
And he's good at it, Dick. Just a few weeks ago in Wengen, Switzerland, on a really difficult course just like this, he was half a second ahead of Alberto Tomba. And look at why now. He keeps his feet apart for good balance. He keeps his hands out to help with balance also, and for those quick pole plants.
And a terrific intermediate time for Furuseth, who was second in the combined in Garmisch and has also won a giant slalom this season.
So he had a bad first run on the different course, but with the same kind of snow. These skis are still bouncing around a lot, and he's not taking chances. He's not getting too close to the gates. He's going to have trouble making it up.
Time that he must beat on the left to take over the overall lead. It's a good run, but he is in 4th place overall. No medal this time for Furuseth, but we haven't seen the last of him here in France. American A.J. Kitt intended to race, but has a slight leg injury, and along with the poor course conditions, was forced to withdraw. He's preparing for the Super G on Saturday. Steve,
freestyle coach, how do the athletes deal with this?
A difficult situation today, Greg. The only true ground control these skiers have now is a coloring they'll put on the landing hill, either a dye or pine boughs. Gives them the opportunity to tell which way is up and which way is down. In addition, they've got a coach standing on the knoll who can talk to them in the air, tell them to stretch to slow things down, or tuck to speed it up. Any way you cut it, it's going to be a tough situation.
And ultimately, it still comes down to the competitor. No one knows more about air sense than the third member of our broadcast team, 4-time Olympic gold medalist in diving, Greg Louganis. Greg?
Thank you, Greg. It truly is amazing that these athletes are doing flips and twists with 4 to 5 foot boards attached to their feet, and then having to land in packed snow. And in weather like this, it's like diving in the dark. It's like when I was doing an inward 3.5, I came out stretching for what I thought was the water, but it was a windows, and I landed flat on my back. The most difficult thing was to get back up on that board and do the dive again. But with the crowds the way they are today, I think the skiers will have no problems getting back up there and jumping again.
In the women's competition, the USA's Sue Mahalski, no problem getting back up, but a big problem getting down in her first jump.
The fall and snow has really made the speed inconsistent, and because of it, you'll see her as Sue gets off the jump. She gets into that full twist a little bit early because she thinks she's not high enough. As she starts over the top, she loses the visual and picks it up right at the last minute, unfortunately too late.
I wasn't anticipating the speed to be changing so drastically, and I was really slow, and obviously I fell on my face. But it's a little tricky in these conditions. Visibility isn't the best, and the speed is a little sketchy too. But then again, everyone has the same conditions, and you know, hopefully it works out in your favor, and obviously it didn't for me today.
The conditions proved ideal, though, for Sweden's Marie Lindgren.
One of the definite advantages today, Greg, of running first in the running order. She had a beautiful takeoff, a nice full twist out, and got up to a great start today.
80.47 on that jump for Lindgren. It set the stage for her to win the qualifying. Kirsty Marshall of Australia was in third. She's the gold medal favorite. 8 women qualified. In the men's competition after the first jump, France's Jean-Marc Baccan, the leader. Philippe Laroche, the gold medal favorite, in 6th. The Americans Trace Worthington and Chris Feddersen in 5th and 7th. Their second jump when we return.
Before we made a driver's minivan by
jump, he was second after the first jump. Let's take a look.
Fontaine went for broke on his first jump. Double full, full full, quadruple twisting, triple somersault.
Of the Quebec Air Force, Nicholas Fontaine will fly with a full, and he only needs a 52.42 to take the lead, and that is less than half of what he got in his first jump.
It's got to be a psychological advantage for these guys to have done their most difficult jump first, hit the jump, now tone it down, just worry about execution. Full, 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 and he's on the money. 2 solid jumps today will be a tough match to beat.
Fontaine, not just of the Quebec Air Force, he's a top gun today in the qualifying.
Triple twisting, triple somersault. Off the takeoff, a back somersault with a full twist. Another back somersault with a full twist, and still another back somersault with a full twist. A little break in form on the legs, but overall, a good performance.
Fontaine soars into the lead with a 104.08. But the highest first jump of the day was much higher than that. It came from this man, Jean-Marc Baccan. Let's go back and remember his full.
Watch the trampoline background take effect here. Pencil point execution. Full, full, full. Doesn't get much better than that.
And now can France's Jean-Marc Baccan take the lead away? He needs a 98.69, and he is doing a full double, full with a 4.45 degree of difficulty.
This is just what I was talking about here, Greg. Nicholas Fontaine had done his most difficult jump first. He was able to tone it down a little bit, work on execution. Now the pressure's on Jean-Marc. He has to put his feet down on this full, double, full if he's going to stay in contention.
Third in the World Cup, won the opener here in Teen. He's been practicing this jump a lot throughout the year.
4 twists, 3 flips. Back full, wraps up the double full, and a full out. Oh, and he's in some trouble on the landing.
Splatters on the landing backhand and loses a ski. Shows you how fit and resilient these athletes are. He's up, he's all right, but he will have severe problems with his landing points. He got perfect landing points in his first jump.
Also shows you how fit and in shape the landing hill itself is for these guys to be able to take falls like that and come out with a smile on their face. There's the double full. Completely blind for a second, has to come out of it, pick up the landing quickly, and try and size it up to put his feet underneath him. He just didn't quite get him there to the point where he's able to pick his head and shoulders up and stand square on his feet. Let's look at it again. The double full. He comes out at this point. I think he realizes now, as you can see the knees come in, he's got to hustle to get his feet underneath him and never got his eyes up and down the hill. And the consequences are obviously costly.
He needed a 98.69 to take the lead. His landing points only 0.6. His score 71.2. Baccan is in second place. but he is 27 points behind Fontaine. It's likely others will slip in there.
7 judges will score the aerial competition. 5 will take a look at the takeoff and execution, and 2 judges will pick up the landing for a total of 3 points.
Didier Maida gets set to go. He was third after the first jump. Let's look back at it.
Didier's triple is a little different format. He does a half, Rudy, full. The Rudy is a 1.5 twist.
Didier Maida gets set for the second jump. He needs a 105.20. And he is a man who can get that to take the lead away from Nicholas Fontaine of Canada.
He's probably one of the only jumpers left, Greg, who still does a half twist on takeoff, coming from his trampoline background. He's doing a half full. There's a half twist, another half, and a full. He had some breaking form in the middle of that. He didn't quite get the takeoff he was looking for there.
But the touchdown is good, and it's received warmly by the French for Didier Maida.
It looked like he's talking about the speed right now. I know with the snow falling today, it's been a wet snow and made the speed very inconsistent. You can see here right away, as he gets into his takeoff position.
The famous LaRoche family. His sister was competing in the downhill for women, injured herself in a training run. She is watching from the finish area. 2 brothers, world champions in freestyle, now retired. He needs 115.02 on this jump to take the lead.
And he can do that, Greg. This is one guy that can put 115 jump total to a full, and right on the money.
Well, now you know why LaRoche is the world champion and the gold medal favorite from Quebec, Canada.
He just looks so comfortable in the air, just like he's at home up there. He comes off the jump, gets a good lift, full twist, spots the landing, full twist, one last look, and now he gets to set up for where he's going to put his feet down.
LaRoche needed 115.02 to take the lead. He gets 114.61. He is second, and the Quebec Air Force, Fontaine and LaRoche, is 1 and 2, with Didier Maida of France in third. In the finish area, let's join Greg Louganis and Philippe LaRoche.
Philippe, you have a quad twisting triple. Why didn't you do it today?
Well, I didn't feel really good today, and the weather was not the perfect weather for twist today, and we see with the result, you know, I play safe. I'm second right now, and I don't want to have the pressure to be first tomorrow to start, you know, so I just want to be in the top 10 and have a good time tomorrow.
And the Quebec flags are waving. Trace Worthington stretches for his second jump. His first one was a good one. It put him in 5th. Let's look at that first flight.
You know, he bumped his neck earlier in the week, and it was really a great opportunity for him to get off, get a late full, put his feet down, and get some confidence going for jump number 2.
Trace Worthington of the USA, he needs 113.68 points to take over first place from Nicholas Fontaine of Canada. And he is doing a high degree of difficulty jump.
Greg, this guy has had several jumps this year over the 114 mark. So if anybody can do it, he can. This full is really a bread and butter jump for him.
4.050 is the degree of difficulty on the full.
Here we go. Skating to pick up speed. Boy, you heard it right there. Really juice that one. Give a Jimmy Connors grunt to get off the ground.
Trace Worthington lies down and perhaps up into first place. The judges working their scores now.
Really inconsistent speed today. You really can see he's working that takeoff. And he did a great job of getting punched out at what was probably a pretty slow in-run speed that time. 2 flips, 2 twists, stretches out for the final one for a triple twisting, triple somersault. Look at it here. Mechanics are something else. He's got a hard driving left arm, pulls his shoulders through the twist. The last minute he breaks out into an airplane position and puts his feet down underneath him. The combination of those 2 jumps will be a good one.
Trace Worthington, he needed 6 more points than he got, a 107.73, but the 2-jump total is 209.38. Worthington is number 3 after 2 jumps. If he could do that tomorrow, he'd have a bronze medal in his pocket. Fuzz Feddersen, again, trying to clear the glasses. A pressure player, though. And the pressure is on to a degree. Granted, this is not the gold medal round, but he would like to prove he could take the gold. He needs a 118.73 right now to take the lead away from Nicholas Fontaine of Canada. Can he get that kind of score with this jump?
He sure can, Greg. As a matter of fact, on his route to the Olympic Games, there was a battle between 3 Americans. And it came down the last jump of the competition prior to the Olympics that Fuzz pulled out all the stops and got a big 120-point score on his full. This is a lay full. Double twisting, triple somersault, right on the money.
Feddersen, can he pick up enough points to take the lead in the preliminary?
As he crosses the transition, the arm swing starts. Big, powerful, locked out position, taking it to the complete height before he even initiates a twist. Hands down the side. He's picked up a little bit of that Russian flair, and it's really helped him in keeping his body straight as he pulls the arms down in close to his hips there.
Feddersen. Fine Olympic showing as Bosmeyer has improved on those finishes from Calgary 4 years ago.
This course was set by the American coach Bill Egan, and Dick, it's a little bit tighter than your typical Super G course because they've had